Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome, and this is Cincy Brewcast. That's right, Cincy Brewcast. It's still a show. I'm just really bad at getting things done right now because... I shouldn't say I'm bad at getting things done because I'm doing all kinds of stuff. It just feels like some of the things that I enjoy doing the most aren't getting done because they're like... we'll call them passion projects instead of things that actually make my wife happy by bringing in money. But here we are. It still exists. I'm back. We're going to make a very conscious effort to have episodes of this show every other week from now on. And then on alternating weeks, if you're a fan of booze, you should also listen to Drinking with a Gnome because that's the other off weeks. In theory, that's the goal at least. This is a heck of a week to do an episode. We're at MadTree's, one of my favorite places to sit down and record podcasts because there's always so many different things going on. There's so many different roads we can go down. This is a place that was at. I'm going to say at the genesis of the craft beer movement in Cincinnati. And I know that is arguable. I know the folks down at the Lager House would argue that there are other places that were at the start of it. I'm sure the Cincinnati Beverage Company would argue. There are plenty of other places that were making craft beer. But the taproom model started at the same time that places like MadTree's were opening up. So... in a lot of ways, MadTree's as a company has seen every bit of what craft beer has meant in Cincinnati, all of the ups, all of the downs, all of the weird twists and turns that it's taken. So there's always lots of fun things that we can talk about, and we're going to talk about a lot of them tonight. Brittany, welcome. I don't think you've actually ever been on this show officially. You've been on Drinking with a Gnome.
Yes.
But yeah. I don't think you've been on this show, so welcome to Cincy Brewcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Brittany Frey, head brewer, is that the job title?
That is the job title
I feel
now.
like job titles are always changing.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody the other day, it used to be like, I could be sitting and having beers with somebody, and they'd be like, oh, hey, who's the head brewer at, and then name one of the breweries. And I'd be like, oh, that's, so-and-so, and I can't keep track of it anymore.
Fair, yeah.
Sometimes I have no idea who's making the beer where, but I definitely know here. And I guess that means something for my love of MadTree's and everything that is happening here. We're going to start with a beer because it's hot outside and I'm thirsty. I've been in the car. It takes me way too long to get here this time of day because of traffic.
That. Yeah.
And look, I'm going to say it. I had to circle the parking lot like 9 times before I could find a spot. Sometimes it takes just as long to park as it does to get here.
We actually have more parking spots now.
You can go and you can park across the street. And there's a pedestrian bridge, but look, my stuff's heavy. I gotta have a close spot. I need to be close. I'm like an old lady.
No, I don't blame you at all. Did you see the new spots? That we just put out there? Yeah, we have 24 more spots
Where
now.
are the new spots?
So back more, you can actually see back into our dock area now.
Oh, yeah.
So where you used to have to turn around.
Where the big thing used to be.
The zombie incinerator. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. I drove right through there and didn't even pay attention that was.
Those are all brand new as of Monday.
Yeah, well.
But they were already taken up.
Yeah, they were already taken up. Next construction phase, the MadTree's parking garage.
Yeah, we actually really joked about that for that area.
It would kind of make sense, but you can just park across the street and walk over. It's not a big deal. Anybody that ever complains about parking, I recognize I'm saying this right after complaining about parking. Anybody that complains about parking at a Cincinnati brewery it's not valid because you can always park somewhere and walk relatively close. Yeah. It's not any further than you would park if you go shopping at Kroger or Meijer or somewhere like that. So
exactly.
Quit your belly aching. So this show kind of started because it's the middle of World Cup fever here in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You guys made a flight of beer, which if you follow me on social media, you saw that I have already tried this. I've tried all of these. I drank them. So go watch that video. I didn't really talk about my opinion about each one, though. I tried to make it short. And I don't know how you're supposed to do social media anymore, so I'm trying to appease the algorithm. So I'm happy to kind of dive into these a little bit deeper. Each one of these is themed after a different country.
Correct.
Some of the more popular teams in the World Cup, I'm guessing.
That's what I was told. Yeah.
I don't know anything about soccer. So.
I'm minuscule amounts. Okay. Yes.
Let's just start rolling through this, and then we'll kind of get into the conversation as we go.
Sounds great.
I'm guessing I'm starting here.
Yes.
And I'm guessing
on the left.
This will be Japan. Is that right? Okay. Yeah. So we drank them in a different order last night.
Oh, yeah. So our bartenders, we haven't told them a specific way that you have to put them in there because, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of fun. Just let the person decide if they want it in a specific way or...
To me, that's part of the fun of a flight, too, is that, like, as you drink them in different orders, it does kind of change the impression of all of them, and, like, you can kind of play around with that as a drinker, too.
Yeah.
This beer is called...
It's called Samurai Brew.
Samurai Brew.
Yep.
Green tea, yuzu.
Green tea. There's 3 different green teas in there and yuzu zest.
And then it's a rice lager.
Oh, no. It's just an ale.
It's not a rice lager?
It is not a rice lager.
I think in my notes I put rice lager.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Okay.
It's just an ale, but...
Okay.
Yep.
Let me take a sip, and then I'll give my thoughts here. Oh, yeah, like that. So the green tea comes off big and bold right at the beginning for me. It's nice and kind of earthy. And then that yuzu kind of fruitiness comes in at the end.
Yep.
That's a great beer. Like, that's one of those beers that, like, sure, if you're watching soccer, it's probably fun to drink. But, like, if you're hanging out on a patio and just wanting something that, like, is crisp and easy to drink, but also has some flavors that you can sit and think about, that's an awesome beer. I absolutely love that. I want to talk a little bit about, so there was a period of time, I don't know if this is going to come off sounding insulting or not. Like, there was a period of time, not just here, but like in craft beer, where I feel like things got a little boring almost. I don't know if it was like a blowback after COVID, where there weren't a lot of like one-off beers. There weren't a lot of like what I felt were like these fun, exciting, experimental things happening. It was like everybody leaned really hard into core beers and flagships, and it, for me, kind of felt a little weird.
Sure.
And it was kind of like industry-wide, too. It was happening everywhere, so I'm sure there was some kind of reason for that, but I'm happy to see that kind of drifting back the other direction now, where we're starting to see lots of other unique experimental things. How does that play for you guys as brewers? I know you're probably still brewing a whole bunch of MadTree Light and a whole bunch of Psychopathy, and day to day that's it keeps the lights on, but to be able to sit there and kind of play around with stuff like this, how does that affect you guys as creatives and as somebody that hopefully enjoys going to work every day?
I do, yeah. Pretty sure most of my team does too, or all of them. I think I agree with you. Like, after COVID, it was definitely your hypothesis is correct. It was a lot of trying to refocus because craft kept doing this, but then, our shelf spaces were going away. So we had to really try to win with what we knew how to do very well. We had to like get back into the consumer's mind of we're still here, even after COVID. All of the RTDs came out with all of the, different flavors and everything. So it was a very hard competitive market to try to keep getting those spots, keep getting yourself into consumers' hands. Craft beer is still down if you look at the BA report, but not as down as what we thought we would be this year. But yeah, it's been very invigorating to be able to be more experimental again. Kind of have those playing fields of people are interested in these different ingredients and how you can use that in a product. That's a tried and true ale or lager that they've trusted for years, and kind of play around in their heads of you're we can use green tea in a beer.
Right.
You can have it besides just at breakfast time. Yeah, it's.
I feel like when I'm sitting at a bar, and I can only imagine for people on the other side of the bar that are serving us drinks, like when people come in and you can see those people that aren't really craft beer drinkers, they're uncomfortable with it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody needs to carry some kind of like a drink resume with them and be like, hey, here's the stuff that I drink every day. Like, here's the full list, so I'm not forgetting anything. Because like there's probably like tea drinkers that don't think that there is a beer that kind of scratches that itch for them, that like if you could get them in here and then realize that they're a tea drinker, be like, oh my god, you gotta try this. And if you like that, hey, this is kind of like a rooibos tea or like something else, like this is kind of along those lines there, and then kind of gets people experimenting and playing around with stuff. I feel like figuring that out from figuring out the drinkers is probably one of the most underrated parts of the bartender's job. And especially when you look at a place like this is a high volume bar. Like they have to move fast, they have to move efficient. Like there's not a lot of time for like chit chat and being like, hey, what kind of mood are you in today? What's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of time for that. You got to figure out what somebody wants to drink. You got to figure it out fast.
Yeah.
And so hats off to the people that do that every day, because I'm always blown away when they nail it, and you get that sitting there and you see that person walk up that doesn't know, and within like one or two tastes of something, they're like, oh, this is great, this is the one I was looking for, and then it's like, oh man, that was fast.
I think it's just like learning how to ask the right question and not being a yes and no, making sure it's pushing them to be very specific. Like, you like hoppy beers, but do you like floral pine? Do you like citrus?
Well, yeah, it used to be really easy. Like it used to be like craft beer was like, oh, so you're not a craft beer drinker? That's fine. Do you like coffee? Do you like banana? Do you like bitter pine? Like it was these very simple kind of personalities to a lot of the beers that we saw. Whereas now it's like it's a whole gamut. I mean, like it's like, do you like tangerine? Do you like pineapple? Do you like tiki drinks? Do you like tea? Do you like coffee? Do you like, like there's this whole broad spectrum for these things. And I recognize it was there before, but I feel like it's amplified now in a way that it never was before, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit. So, since we recorded with MadTree last, there's been a lot of different things that have happened. I don't know. Well, we did the Ravens riff, but I don't know that we talked about Parks and Rec. I don't know that we've ever even really talked about Alcove. I probably should have gone back and figured out all of the topics we've covered before, but I don't think we have. And
you met with Ree, right? One of the times.
Yeah, but I don't know I don't think we talked. We were talking more about the culture. I can't.
Sure.
I need to go back and listen and see what all we covered, but we had to have talked about it a little bit. But
sure.
I think that over the last. I'm going to say even the last year, watching how the personality of MadTree has kind of splintered almost in a good way. Like you see Alcove developing a very distinct personality. It always had it, but it's, it understands what it is. Parks and Rec has slowly figured out what type of space that is. Yeah. And in turn, now here at Oakley, this taproom is kind of almost falling back on the kind of the old personality of a tap room. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this. Here's how I look at these spaces. Yep. So MadTree Oakley is old school tap room. Yes, it's family friendly. Yes, you can bring your dogs out on the patio. It's what you think of when you think of a craft beer tap room, but it is tap room first. There's food, but it's all about beer. This is a tap room space. This is for people who want to sit and crush beers. We got Parks and Rec, also a tap room, but this takes the idea of family-friendly tap rooms and kind of amplifies that to a whole new level. It's in a freaking park. It's the place you go. You your kids bring you there. You don't bring your kids. Your
Yeah.
kids hang out. There's a big playscape outside, and my kids literally ask to go there all the time. They don't even know that it's a brewery. And,
That's amazing.
but still tap room. A little bit more food focused though, because it's a family kind of first tap
Yeah.
room. Then you've got Alcove, which is complete other end of the spectrum. This is a bar restaurant first. It's wine, it's cocktails. If you want to get a beer, obviously there's beer because it's a MadTree's space, but you come here to come there to grab brunch, to grab cocktails, to have an afternoon with a couple glasses of wine. It's a bar restaurant before it is anything else. How close am I on how you think those all sit?
You are pretty much hitting it right on the head. Yeah.
I when I wrote about the new Alcove space in Summit Park opening up, I made this point in there. A lot of people were confused.
Sure.
I've heard just about every joke that you can possibly make about the park sponsored by MadTree now.
Yeah.
But people were confused why there was a MadTree space just a stone's throw away from another MadTree space. And to me, all it does is it helps Parks and Rec lean into that personality more. And the more that Parks and Rec can lean into that personality, the more Oakley can lean into its personality. And like giving them the ability to develop their own unique personalities is, to me, critical for having multiple locations across the city.
Absolutely. I mean, you have different type of consumers too. Like the consumer that's going into OTR area is very different than one that comes to Oakley or Parks and Rec.
Sure.
So that's the whole premise of the idea with the Alcove, business model, the feel of Alcove going up to Summit Park. It's like copy paste. It's going to be the same type of sit down restaurant. That's, your date night. That's your after work little happy hour. You can have cocktails and wine. You're exactly right. Obviously, we'll have beer there. But the menus will actually be the same as well as Alcove OTR that they'll have in Summit Park.
Right.
So you don't have to drive downtown if you're a suburbanite. You can still get that same experience up there in Summit Park, too.
Is there a fear that does start to cannibalize a little bit from the OTR space?
I mean, we definitely have talked about it pretty extensively, but we don't feel that will. We'll feel, our suburbanites up there will choose that for date night, as opposed to something else that they're, going out will be included in that list for their.
I mean, I think
different experiences.
I think we're already seeing a lot of that. I feel like downtown and OTR in general has become a very event-centric place. Like you go there for something, have some dinner, have some drinks, and then you go home. Not that that's a bad thing, but like people are spending a lot more time closer to home. Like there's pockets around town that have just as much going for them as OTR does now. Like it's like you don't need to leave Westchester or Mason or Loveland or Milford or Blue Ash. Like you don't have to leave these places to go find a good dinner and a good cocktail and something to do. Like you've got it all already.
There's a couple other OTR restaurants that are coming up to that area too.
Yeah, like it's
people are seeing there's a need for it.
Yeah. Just so we need more people. There's more people in the park. Summit Park is one of my favorite places to drink beer in Greater Cincinnati. The fact that massive Dora area, you've got one of the best beer bars in the city. You have an incredible park that is, especially this time of year when it's nice outside, so much fun to explore.
Yeah.
Like it's way bigger than you think it is. It is one of my favorite places to drink beer. So kind of going on this idea of these different spaces, do you see, and this is obviously just your opinion, do you see a time in craft beer where things start growing again and maybe this idea of these different spaces can continue to kind of grow for MadTree, where maybe there's multiple Parks and Rec locations, maybe there's multiple taproom locations. That's the side that I want. Like I want to take this, and everybody said, we want 1.0 back. I don't want 1.0 back. It was hot. I don't know if you guys actually remember how miserable it was. It was hot and it was not fun. It's, what is it, like rose tinted glasses or something when you look back at things like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's the community space and everything. But you were all sweaty sitting on the bench together.
A small air conditioned MadTree tap room would be so much fun as a craft beer fan. I recognize that that's not the way things are growing right now, but do you think we'll get to that point where we start to see growth like that again, where places can kind of grow in that side of their personality? I think it's completely possible.
Everything is reciprocal.
Yeah, but
there'll be another boom sometime.
Will we still be of sound mind to see it, or will it be like my kids enjoying it?
Fair point. We had a boom, and it started like in 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, but really started taking off in 2013 when we opened in Rheingeist.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think it's completely possible within our sound mind and body when we're not like drooling out of our mouths. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I might drool a little bit sometimes now already. I think that there is some kind of, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg, but craft beer isn't growing, but the spaces that we drink craft beer are also not the same as the spaces that were around when craft beer was growing. So I don't know which causes which, or if they're related at all, but I don't know that we should be expecting the industry to be exploding when every time you walk into a tap room, you have that choice of beer or wine or spirits. You can grab some food. You can play giant Jenga. You can it's the tap rooms themselves are different. So what people are consuming is going to be different too. So I think that and I get it that at the end of the day, business is business and people need to be able to make money to exist. But if somebody's able to, I don't even know a good way to word it, but kind of put the passion front and center, maybe over logic a little bit sometimes, we might be able to push things in a different direction and kind of direct where we want the market to go.
I think too, as a craft beer industry, we're learning about the consumer.
Sure.
The consumer is changing, and we're adapting to that as best and as fast as we can.
Right.
Sometimes we'll miss the mark for sure. But I think that growing organically, listening to what that person coming into your space is wanting, or picking your brand over someone else's at the grocery store,
right,
learning from that and then being able to take that back and grow upon that is what we're trying to do right now.
Right.
Growing slow is okay. Maybe it's a little safe, but at least then hopefully we'll be around longer as all the different brands in Cincinnati.
we also don't know what it means to grow slow. It's
absolutely. No, yeah, craft beer's just been like this.
Speaking of, let's drink another one.
Yes.
This is the Rogan beer, right?
Yes.
The man shaft.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah. So I think the correct or more accurate pronunciation is Demannschaft.
Okay.
I said it very different ways. And the person who helped kind of pick out what countries we were going to be focusing on is a very big soccer fan.
Right.
So
I said it
in a very awkward way. Yes. And he corrected me. He's like, "No, Brittany, not like that."
What does that mean?
It means the team in German.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a Rogan beer. They have to at least be 50% rye. Ours is 75%. and it uses traditional Hefeweizen yeast. So it's basically just a very big multi-rye, full-body hef.
Very similar to like a Dunkelweizen, but like with that rye sweetness kind of going on too. Like it's a really neat beer. I've only had a few Rogan beers. I don't think I've ever had an actual German Rogan beer, so I don't know what they taste like. So like I think that's kind of a fun journey as a beer drinker too. Like that happened with Goza. When Goza started becoming a thing, like it took a while for people to figure out what they thought Goza was supposed to taste like.
Yep.
I think they got it wrong most of the time. I don't think it's supposed to be as sour as everybody's making them, but I'm gonna drink this and make some silence. That big kind of banana Hefeweizen personality just. There's no smoke in here at all.
No smoked malt. No.
I almost get like a smoky kind of thing going on, which I didn't. Yeah. I didn't get when I drank this yesterday.
There are some like the deeper caramel malts in there too, so that might be kind of picking up some of those aromas for you.
That's a summer evening beer to me because it's still light and refreshing and summery, but like that big full body and kind of big personality kind of lends itself to once the sun goes down and maybe sitting around a fire pit or something. I love that beer. I think in my video, well, I'm going to spoil it, but like I think I said my favorite was Psychopathy. I'll explain when we get to the end why that is, but I think if I'm leaving Psychopathy out, I think I got to go with this one.
Yeah,
it's such a unique beer.
Going back to like what you're talking about, like kind of as craft brewers now, giving a little bit more of that space to innovate and try new things. When I was working with my recipe development team, I just said, these were the countries that we've been asked to kind of focus on. One being Germany. And we all kind of, the four of us that are on that team just said like, well, like, I mean, Hefeweizen, yeah, we can do that. Like we can do a bunch of different things. We can do a Kolsch, but like we have those on a little bit more often. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to take this opportunity to just try something really freaking different that none of us had done before. And obviously something that a lot of our consumers have never had.
They're different, and all of these except for the last one are very different than what you would typically see. But they're also still like close enough to things that still kind of feel like MadTree. Like it's done really, really well. Like this is a flight that pushes kind of the creativity of beer styles out a little further than we typically see.
Yeah.
But still leans really heavy in all of the things that I feel like if somebody put this flight, again, leaving the last one out, that would make it too easy, but put these three beers in front of me in some other situation and said, what brewery made these? I feel like I could figure out that it was MadTree just on the personality of the beers themselves.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that's something that is difficult to do. Really difficult to do. There's not a lot of places that have developed like a personality to the actual recipes. Like there's places that have a personality for other reasons, not always good. But as far as like actual beers, like that's not easy. When you guys were do you not test batch stuff like this? Is it just like we trust our ability to make a great beer? We're just going to kind of roll with it.
Yeah. That's what we did.
How do you come up with like Rogan beer is the perfect example. Like I know Darkness has made one a few times, and I know the first time I tried the one from Darkness, it's a fun story that I like to tell. Is it was before they actually opened. It was one of the first beers that they brought, and it was like the whitest, like bright, like almost white in color beer because they use so much like rye and wheat and things like that.
Yeah.
And which was funny because here's this brewery that's opening. They're called Darkness, and we're all expecting these big stouts, and then they bring this white beer for us to try.
Yeah.
But like very similar beer, but like I don't think that they use a Hefeweizen yeast with it. They use something else, so it doesn't have that same kind of banana kind of character. And then obviously the color is very different. How do you figure out what you think something like this is supposed to look like and taste like?
I think it's a lot of just researching that style. If we know a brewery has done it before, we'll reach out to them. Just kind of, hey, what worked, what didn't,
Right.
What would you recommend? We lean a lot on our vendors from time to time too, our malt and hop providers, because they have a lot of knowledge that
Sure.
we just don't have access to or the time to consume that. A lot of it just is also kind of just those passion projects. So when we decided on these beers, the recipe writers, we had a little over 6 weeks to put these recipes together before we even had to order anything. So it was a lot of kind of like nitpicking, working together.
How many people are we talking about on that team?
We have 4, and I just introduced a 5th brewer to it. So we have 4 people on there that are full-time on that team. We meet once a month. We'll talk about the beers that we just put on tap, and we'll talk about new fun things that we want to trial out in this taproom spaces. And listen to our bartenders too of what people are asking for.
When you're trying to nail down something like one of these beers, is it like you kind of throw the idea out there like, hey, we want to make a Rogan beer. Everybody kind of bring ideas about what you think a Rogan beer is supposed to be, or is it like you figure this out, and you figure this one out, and you figure this one out, and then we'll all come back and kind of talk about it? How does that process work?
It's the latter. We have those scheduled meetings once a month, and I try to put out a couple weeks, at least a week in advance of these are kind of the special projects that we can start thinking about working on. So bring some ideas to the table, brainstorm ahead of time, and let's just chat about it in a very safe space. And let's learn from each other. So yeah, one of my brewers, Dan, he's such a great recipe writer, and he has found his niche too. And he brought the idea of a Rogan beer, and we all just kind of looked and were like, let's just fucking do it. That sounds amazing. We've never had one.
Right.
But we trust him. He does extensive research in all of his recipes, so let's just go for it.
Right. I find that fascinating, especially knowing that like something like this, you're not rolling through a bunch of test batches over 6 months trying to figure it out. Like it's like, no, we're gonna just figure this out right now and then roll with it. Stresses me out a little bit.
It stresses them out too the first time that they're kind of put in that boat. Right. Like the newest guy that just joined the team, he has an extensive background in the brewing industry. And once you kind of finish your training back there, the whole premise is, all right, now you can join this team. You get to write a recipe for the first time. You'll work with one of the tenured people on there to kind of show you the ropes, make sure, you don't fuck something up. But the world's your oyster. Write what you want to write. So he's putting together Imperial Hazy IPA that we're going to be dry hopping at 4 or 5 pounds per barrel.
Okay.
We don't do that here.
Right.
So this is one of those things of just, we're going to learn from this too, and he's going to get to make something that he's really proud of.
That's fun. I feel like, again, that's one of those styles that like a lot of places have drifted away from as time has gone on for lots of, good or bad reasons. But, like there's so many different hop products now that people are using, trying to not have to put that many in here. So it's fun to be able to kind of just play around and have something that is done the way that it was.
Yeah.
I like that. How much arguing goes on about a beer recipe like one of these when you guys are trying to kind of nail it down and figure out what you want it to be?
Not really any. The team, like they all work so well together.
Right.
we are making a Hefeweizen. A lot of the times it's how can we reuse yeast? So like
Sure.
we're repitching it at least twice or 3 times. So it's like, all right,
There's not
we're
a lot
making
you
the
can
Rogan
do
beer.
with this yeast.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much right here. So Dan, made this Rogan beer, and Eric, we had time in the schedule to put a hef on, and we're gonna have it. It'll be here and actually at Alcove. They just tapped it today.
Oh, fantastic.
So that also, like, having all of these spaces too, that we're able to like push our products out to these one-offs, it kind of brings in even more that we can expand and grow with each other as recipe writers too.
Is there a discussion about, like, I'm sure that in some locations, people are clamoring more for certain styles than in other locations.
Yeah.
Like, how much does that factor into it? Like we need to make a Hefeweizen because everybody at the park wants a Hefeweizen because they're all sitting on the patio and just desperate for, something like that in a big tall glass.
Yeah.
How does that factor into trying to figure out the schedule?
It factors. Like that's part of my job. I talk to those people who are, in that day to day, the orderers and the managers there at the different locations of, all right, what are your guests saying they want that we're missing right now? Like what do we need to fill to at least appease most of the crowd
Right.
there? Because you're never going to appease everybody. And that's a bi-weekly conversation that I have with those different managers, and that's part of the information I bring back to that recipe team of, all right, like everyone's saying they want a dark beer, at least one dark beer. Doesn't have to be, a stout. It could be a dark lager too.
Right.
So let's get creative and think outside the box. What's something that you're really interested in, or what did you have that we can kind of play around with? So, is it a dark wheat? Maybe it's a dark Mexican lager.
Right.
So those are the conversations that we have. And honestly, I kind of approach it of, we have to keep pushing ourselves and growing ourselves in that space too. And that also helps keep the team engaged and excited about what they're doing every day. Psych and light lager are really fun to brew, but it's really fun to get in the weeds and kind of dive into a little bit more of those nuanced characters of recipe writing.
Well, and again, I feel like it helps those different spaces develop their personalities more. You have to have
Absolutely.
things that are a little bit off the normal path of what MadTree is to kind of figure out, okay, so how does Parks and Rec differ from Oakley? How does that personality change if they're all just drinking beer? What is that thing? And
Yeah.
I don't know that is as easy to do if you're not making things that kind of push those boundaries.
Yes, and you're never going to know what those boundaries are until you try them too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about kind of the bigger picture changes. The news came out not that long ago that Rhiannon has taken over as CEO.
Yep.
Brady and Kenny are stepping back operationally, still involved, but not in the actual operation of running the business. What exactly does all of this mean? What does it look like day to day? Does it really change a whole lot from the perspective of people working here, or is it more of just a management structure on paper change?
Fair. I think the biggest change is there's Rhiannon and Justin. So they're co-VPs.
Okay.
Yeah. Where decision making, like big decisions, so like Alcove and Parks and Rec, there were 4 or 5 people in that decision making room, where now the final decision is resting on Rhiannon and Justin.
Okay.
So that's been helping streamline some of those bigger picture decision making processes. As far as like my day to day and my teams, not a whole lot different. You can still walk into the Oakley tap room and see Kenny working on his laptop during lunchtime in one of the tables. You'll see Brady walking around and Justin and Rhiannon too. So Kenny and Brady are still very much involved, but the shoulders that the decisions are on is Rhea and Justin now.
I can't wrap my head around that idea. To start something like MadTree, to get to the point where you're able to be like, look, I trust you guys to do what's best. Have at it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I recognize that doesn't come overnight, and it comes with lots of time and finding the right people and learning to trust those people, and but it blows my mind when you think back to those days of 1.0 where it was a very relatively simple operation that was going on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We didn't have 5 different businesses underneath our umbrella.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible to see what it's turned into. And that, as this thing keeps growing and keeps evolving, you got to find a way to let it grow the way it needs to. If that makes any sense at all. It's sometimes with, especially in an industry like craft beer that is built so much on this product that is a very strong passion for a lot of people, that a lot of times that gets in the way of actually running things, and to be able to find a way to have an operation that can run itself like a proper business, while maybe you can kind of step back and kind of look at things from a different lens again. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I hope that made some kind of sense.
Yes. I mean, like I said, they're still very much involved, Kenny and Brady, but just in a different capacity.
Right.
And I think as an employee here, it's been amazing to see the business grow as it has. I mean, I started December of 2019, and Rhiannon started just a couple months into that. She got hired during COVID.
Right.
And she was hired as sustainability impact director.
Right.
Her sole job in the very beginning was to get us into that B Corp certification, and do the work that really Kenny and Brady envisioned this whole business to be from day one, but just didn't have the capacity to do it. But also Rhiannon just brought in this extreme wealth of knowledge from her background that really helped us get over that hump that we really needed.
Right. I think that's something that a lot of people probably don't think about when they are day to day just sitting down at a bar and having a drink. It's when you big brewery, small brewery, doesn't matter. If you've got somebody that is stretched too thin trying to just manage day-to-day existence, it doesn't leave room for things like creative vision for the future, or trying to become B Corp certified, or trying to plan out a tap room in a park that those are things that you can't do if you're busy just trying to run shit. So you have to bring people onto that team that can do some of those other things to enable somebody to be able to kind of push this bigger picture forward. It's clearly worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been, it's been so much fun watching MadTree evolve over time. And there's times where, the company drifts a little bit too far this way and then figures it out and kind of recenters themselves. And then it's really exciting to see that, or, they'll go through this period of lots of growth, and it gets uncomfortable for people. It's I don't even know who this is anymore. And when this opened, it was like that. People walked in oh my God, what is this? This isn't the MadTree we know. But then watching that that period after those changes where it's like that recentering and that redefining of like, here's who we are.
Yeah.
That's what's so much fun to watch. It's like, it's not the big growth and the big changes and that kind of stuff. It's that little period afterwards where you're like, oh, I see. Like, I see where this fits into your picture now. And
Yeah.
like, that's fun.
Yeah.
Let's drink another beer. Is this a Midwest fruit tart?
No.
I think it's pretty close.
I didn't fruit it as much, but yeah, it's a little closer to that than what we usually do as a fruited beer. Yeah.
This is Joe. Hang on.
Yogo Benito.
What is it?
Yogo. Yeah.
It's got a J though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's
Yogo
Portuguese.
Benito.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yogo Benito. It means the beautiful game in Portuguese.
And there's no way I'm going to remember all of the fruit that is in this. I know there's passion fruit and mango.
And acai.
Acai. I could have probably could have guessed. Fantastic. Like everything that I want from like a light, crushable, tart fruited beer.
Yeah. This is not usually a style, just fruited beer that I normally enjoy personally. I'm definitely more of a West Coast dank IPA person, but I thoroughly enjoy this one.
It sits right in that perfect sweet spot. Like it's not overly sweet and candy like. It tastes like fruit, which is I think sometimes hard for people to kind of play that balance of.
Yeah.
Super refreshing. Super summer like summer in a glass.
Yeah. We've already been asked by some of our regulars who drink Shade, like, can we bring this back?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's like the highest compliment you can give us is like, okay, we knocked it out of the park first time. You're happy with it? Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Is there a chance that some of these beers might kind of start to develop into something else that becomes a beer that gets repeated?
I mean, sure, yeah.
Okay, well, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how Skygazer happened.
Right.
I mean, that was Firefly Nightlight here for a couple of years, and it's still top third selling beer here week to week.
I drink a bunch of that. That's again Parks and Rec. If I'm going to go outside, I want something that's super crushable and like easy drinking and but also delicious.
Yeah, so the answer is never no.
Right.
But yeah, I think sure, why not? You just have to find the right spot where that fits in.
Right. How much, like, not these, because I know these were made for a specific kind of event and purpose, but like when you're creating a new beer for some kind of small batch something, how much of it is trying to fill a need on the tap list or that kind of you think people are clamoring for, and how much of it is just we heard about this, we really kind of want to try it and see what it's all about and see kind of how we can do it?
I think it's about 50-50. So there are some, for example, like Coffee Table. Like, I'll make sure that we brew that at least once a year. We have it in our spaces. But there also has to be that, I think one of the beautiful things about this industry is the brewers can expand their passion and kind of showcase these different beer styles and ingredients to the consumer. And that consumer is coming back now where they want to try those fun, different things. So yeah, like, we want to make sure we have a Pilsner on tap, but maybe it's an Italian Pilsner. Maybe it's a French Pilsner. And then we get to play around with different hops, different yeast strands maybe, but then we're making a style of beer that people are comfortable with ordering, but we're still getting to play around and do our fun things behind the back.
Right. That makes sense. What is, for you specifically, what is the most fun kind of beer that you've gotten to make and be like, hey, like I really want to try this?
Yeah.
And then Maybe it did well, maybe it didn't, but it was just fun for you to be able to get to do.
Hands down, my Belgian triple.
Okay.
It's my favorite style of beer. When I was kind of done training on the brew house, my first year here, Blevins asked, like, what do you want to do? It's like, well, I have a Belgian triple recipe. I brewed it at Cincy State with my lab partner, Nate Payne, who's the head brewer over on the east side. And then I brewed it at Swine City. I was like, I want to brew it here.
Right.
Brewed it at home multiple times. So we brewed it once here. It was called Straight Out of Belgium. I love 90s rap. So it was kind of like an ode to that and my love of triples coming together. We haven't brewed it since.
Did it go over well? Did people...
It went over well.
I feel like...
Belgians are hard in this tap room.
Yeah.
But I'm turning 40 next year. So that's going to be my ask of like, all right, for my 40th birthday, guys, can I please have a Belgian triple back here in the tap room?
I promise I will drink all of it.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's... sometimes it's more fun to me to see the beers that like aren't necessarily moving fast in the tap room that exist just because somebody here wanted it, because you start to then see the other personalities that kind of exist, and it's not just here's what the next MadTree's thing is. I kind of like that.
It's a cool passion project, something that we really love, and I'm super proud of the recipe. Back when I was at Cincinnati State, my lab partner and we actually emailed back and forth with some monks at Westmail to understand.
I mean, I guess monks have email. I mean, of course they do. But
but we were really interested in their water profile.
Yeah.
So they shared their water profile with us and the yeast strand that they use, and that's what we built the recipe on.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. That's that fun, like, nerdy behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, like, again, something that, like, we don't always think about as drinkers, but, like, it's not just as simple as, like, hops. Like, that's the only ingredient that people seem to pay attention to is just, what hops are in it. Like, there's so much more that goes into a beer recipe or, making something like that. That's fun. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, but let's talk about kind of your story a little bit with beer. How did you get into to brewing? Like what made you start brewing, and how did then that end up with you being the head brewer here?
I think maybe similar-ish to most of my age group in the industry, but do you remember when Party Source did like an Easter egg hunt?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So my husband and I and our friends, we went to the very first one that they did. And it was like the different color eggs that you had to find, and the specific eggs meant you got this specific type of prize. Well, I forget what color it was, but let's call it a blue egg meant you got a sixtel. And you only paid $40 for these tickets per person. So my husband and our two other friends that were there, we put a game plan together of like, all right, spread out. Everyone at least try to find a blue egg because there was only like 6 of them. And then like the next best prices were maybe like green eggs. Mm-hmm. So we scattered. We came back. We were the first 4 people back because you could only get 2 eggs. So we all came back. We were first in line. And my husband had 2 blue eggs. Maybe I think like I had one and another friend had one, and then we had a bunch of like green. Like we got like some really good prizes.
Right.
So we got to pick these sixtels. One of them was like 3 philosophers.
Were you already a craft beer fan at that point?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we were like, okay, like this is really cool.
Right.
But we also didn't have a kegerator at home.
Okay.
We didn't have any way to pour these kegs. So yeah, we were craft beer fans already at the time. So then that started the downhill slope. Like shit, we don't have any way to pour this. So we rented one of the pony taps from Party Source, and our friend actually lived just down the street in Oakley. We invited all of our friends over, and we just had Omegang 3 philosophers on their porch, just pouring out of the party tap on Easter Sunday.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then we're like, what do we do with these other 3 kegs? So Adam and I took 2 of them home, and the other couple took one for like a charity event she was hosting. So we borrowed a kegerator from a friend. So we were like, oh, this is so cool. Like we have our own beer at tap at home. Wow. Like high society here. My husband's an engineer. So the thought process started happening of, well, we can make this cheaper at home, right? Sure. Yeah, let's just do this.
Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly. So then, we started, he started more. I joined in on the brew days. And we did he did one on our stove, like a 1-gallon LME, little Mr. Beer kit on the stove. And we have an electric stove, so it didn't keep a boil the whole time. Like this beer tasted like absolute shit. But we did it. He made beer. So then from there, he borrowed a friend's turkey fryer. Then we started we started kind of researching more of like how to actually make it.
How long is this process from that first batch to
like 2
now?
months.
Now we're all grain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband's an engineer. You have to keep approving the process. So it was like 2 months. Then we were having brew days in our garage, and friends would come over, and then it was all grain. Maybe that was like 6 months then.
Right.
At that point. In my adult life, I was in the more hospitality wedding side.
Okay.
Got super burnout, hated my job so much. So I took the summer off, and he was doing a lot of that. I was really kind of interested in the artistic side of brewing, but also the science and math background of it. My youngest sister at the time was at Cincinnati State, and they had just started introducing you could do for free if you were a student there to try out their beer 101 classes.
Right.
So she told me about that. I was like, oh, they have a degree there. I didn't know anybody in the industry. I'm also very type A. I'm very competitive. So I felt that getting some type of education background behind me would make me more competitive as an applicant for this local industry that was growing at the time. So that was 2017 that I went to Cincinnati State and did full-time there for 2 years. Had my co-op at Swine City in Fairfield. Stayed there for almost 2 years. And then I moved here at MadTree's in 2019.
Right. That's fun.
Yeah. It started from winning a 6-stole.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and relatively happened pretty quickly.
Yes. Yeah. Within 3 years, I was in the industry.
I feel
full time.
and I feel like you hit right at that perfect time in Cincinnati where going to school for brewing was not something that a lot of people were talking about yet. Whereas now it's well, yeah, of course. If you want to be a brewer, we're in Cincinnati. There's a road to kind of try to make that happen.
Yeah.
You were kind of that first wave of people trying to figure out the best way to do it. Before that, it was just a wave of people that were homebrewers and through homebrew clubs or whatever. I know this guy. We'll figure this thing out. I think that's neat. I think it's a good snapshot of that time in beer in the city. That's good. We're all better off for it. I'm glad you guys won that 6-stole. Glad fate had a hand in that. Okay, this is last beer in the flight. This is called Psychopathy. If you haven't had this beer, why are you listening to this podcast? Get out right now and go grab a 6-pack of it. I have been on a bit of a rampage over the last year or so about IPAs. I'm tired of soft IPAs. I'm tired of people calling things West Coast that aren't West Coast. I'm tired of thinking a beer is going to be one thing and then getting it and it's something completely different, and then being disappointed in the pint in front of me. Psychopathy has started to stand out for me in a way that it never, I mean this in the kindest way possible, it never did before.
Fair.
It blended into a sea of other IPAs, whereas now it stands out on this very small island of beautiful, clear, bitter American IPAs. Like this is exactly what I want my IPAs to taste like.
Yeah.
And I know when I go pick it up off of a shelf, that's what it's going to taste like. That is why last night I chose this as my favorite beer on the flight, because every time I drank one, I remember how much I love this beer and how satisfying it is for my IPA loving side of my heart.
Yeah.
I guess tell me about Psychopathy. It's gone through a big kind of refresh over the last, I don't know, when did that happen? Was it like a year ago maybe?
I think it's been 2 years
Seriously?
now. Yeah.
Man.
I think maybe it'll be 2 years in the fall. Because it was a fall
it was chilly.
night.
It was chilly out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was one of the beers that Kenny and Brady made in their garage. Just as Happy Amber and Axis Mundi also, and Thunder Snow. But yeah, Psych's gone through a lot. Back in 1.0 days, the cooler that our hops were in were also the cooler that all of our packaged product was in, and that door was open most of the time, and the hops were stored in the front. So, yeah, we definitely have tweaked Psych very slowly throughout the years.
Right.
But yeah, 2 years ago is when we made the bigger change of, there's still Centennial, Chinook, and Cascade in it, but we introduced Citra to the hop profile, and we changed the malt profile just a tidbit.
Did it simplify the malt profile or like? Okay.
Yeah, so we used to have, so it's still 2-row and Vienna malt. But
I feel like it used to be a lot more like copper colored.
Yes. So we used to have caramel 40 malt in it, and now we have caramel 20. Yeah. So just a little lighter on the SRM scale to kind of bring it into that more new agey American IPA where it's lighter in color.
Sure.
But yeah, still want that bitterness, that resin, pine, citrus character to it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's exactly what I want IPAs to taste like. Nothing against seeing colors, like it's fine. And like when I look at it and if I order it, I know exactly what that's going to be. But I am just so tired of people putting a beer on tap and calling it a West Coast, and then I get it and it's either hazy or it's soft, fluffy. Like those are not things that my West Coast IPA is supposed to have. Like that's not what I want. I'm gonna start ranting and raving here in a second if I'm not careful. I don't know how we got to that point.
Just IPAs in general.
No, but I mean, like I'm okay with them existing.
Yeah.
I just like when I walk in somewhere and I look at a tap list and I look at a beer, I don't care what you call it. I don't care what the style says. You can make some kind of Midwest fruit tart bullshit up as long as I know what that is. So you gotta tell me what that beer is. Very, very short on a couple words. Yeah. And if I think it's one thing and then that beer gets in front of me and it doesn't satisfy what I thought it was, now like that whole that pint, instead of being led with excitement and joy and happiness, is disappointment and sometimes anger and like disgust. Maybe like it's like those are not feelings that somebody wants to have when they're drinking a beer, and it just kind of ruins the whole experience.
Yeah.
So stop it. Stop calling your beer a West Coast IPA if it's not a West Coast IPA. Off my soapbox.
You're okay. Do you have you had our West Coast and the Scene Colors brand family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
It
is clear.
It is clear.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It leans a little bit more towards the kind of softer side of hops, but it's still West Coast.
Totally
Still
agree
West
on
Coast.
that with you. It is clear, but yeah, it's a little more fruit cup medley. There is still some like dankness to it, but it's subtle dank, not pungent like I really love my West Coast and my IPAs. Yeah,
it's gotten really hard to kind of to not only make an IPA that kind of straddles some of those lines, but then also be able to market it in a way that people will understand.
And then being able to like mass sell it too.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe that's one of the things that is wrong with craft beer right now is that we gotta sell everything, and like I just want to know what it is.
That's fair. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about some more bigger picture stuff. So I've been on this weird kick about the spectrum of what I'm calling craft and commodity, because beer as a product has always kind of been both of those things. We've seen fizzy yellow lagers forever that are definitely a commodity. They don't speak to a whole lot. Maybe that's not fair, but they're definitely a commodity. And then with this wave of craft beer, we've seen this whole other side of things where people are making stuff that doesn't make a whole lot of financial sense, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a lot of drinkers. They don't necessarily want them. It's probably not the smartest product to make, but people make it because they want to make it. That's the craft. That's the pure craft of it. Where do you think craft beer sits as an industry in that spectrum right now? I mean, here at MadTree, we've got MadTree Light. That's arguably leaning into the commodity side of beer. It's a light, crushable beer that people are knocking back when they're at the pool or wherever they're crushing beers. And then you've got stuff like Axis Mundi that is the complete opposite end of that. People are sitting there and savoring that and fussing over it, like that Budweiser commercial pointed out. Like where does the industry sit right now to you, and where does MadTree sit for you?
Yeah, I think as an industry, and this was kind of talked about quite extensively at CBC this year, Craft Brewers Conference. You have to be diversified in your offerings, and that's the best path forward right now as a business. Like, you should have something that you have that introductory beer. Maybe it's someone who's always drank Bud Light or Miller Lite. Having something that you can introduce them to craft is important,
right?
Especially if they're coming into your space with a group, maybe that they love the Axis Mundi, but they're very new to this type of business. So you have to have that like welcoming beer that people are comfortable with having in their hands. They're familiar with that. But also you need to appease the consumers who, like those heavy stouts, that like the barrel-aged products, who like a big, hearty IPA. So I think for craft beer, the best thing to have is diversification.
Right.
You see a lot of breweries around town right now who do have cocktails on tap. They'll carry an NA IPA, they'll carry an RTD. They'll still have the main business focus as their beer product, but you have to have those spaces that you're able to have those groups engage in a different way with you.
It seems interesting to me, and I don't know if it's like a change in culture or if it's a change in maybe something else. But when, to use MadTree as an example, when MadTree opened, that idea was still there. You have to have something that the Bud Light drinkers, when they come in and they're uncomfortable with craft beer, that they get a lift. Like here's that that beer for you. But it was still a crafty style. It was still something that it wasn't a fizzy light lager.
Yeah.
I don't know that MadTree was had the infrastructure to do that at that time. It took a while for the first lagers, but
yeah. I don't think we had the time to do it back then.
I can still remember when the Mad Pills came out for the first time in 60-ounce cans, and how exciting that was. That here's MadTree making a Pilsner. Like, can you believe this? Like, one of our local breweries is making a Pilsner. It was fun. But like, so like that idea of diversification and like that always existed, but like it's now shifted into, instead of like, here's a thing that is very much craft beer, for lack of a better way of wording it, that you'll like, trust me, you'll like this, just try it, versus you like light beer, here's a light beer. And like, I don't know why that change happened and why everybody is leaning so hard into it, and what that says about the current state of craft beer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think it's,
and it's no fault. Like, if I'm going to buy a light beer, I want it to be a locally produced light beer from a local brewery. But
yeah, I think it's just that adapting to the market, but also like, craft beer is about community.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always my one word to describe craft beer is it's community.
Right.
And, maybe, back in 2013, 2014, when Kolsch's were the thing.
Kolsch's still are the thing.
They still are the thing.
If anybody doubts me, go to Northern Row on the third Tuesday of every month, and you will see that Kolsch is definitely still a thing.
Yeah, so community, and maybe it's just learning, like we've been learning over the past years organically, what that consumer, how do we keep getting consumers interested and into our spaces? Yeah, maybe it's a little uncomfortable, and we're kind of expanding into some styles of beer that when we first started in this industry, like, we're never going to make fizzy lagers because, fuck ABV, fuck Miller. Yeah. Right. But I think there's a really, first of all, have you ever been to Miller or any ABV plants?
Yeah.
It's mind blowing. Like, just there. I mean, you were saying on this flight, like, you could tell this was our product. Like, they're doing something incredible there. Yeah. Time and time again, millions and millions and millions of barrels. I think as a craft industry, we have started to recognize that the community can't always just be this. To be a successful business, you have to grow.
Right.
And so it's okay to be uncomfortable and kind of expand into those new spaces and learn new things. Change is hard, but it's not always bad. And that's where I feel like craft beer, like we've learned it's okay to be uncomfortable.
So do you think that beer is and has always been both a craft and commodity at the same time?
You have to keep your lights on.
Right.
So
we don't have to.
There's plenty of business that haven't. Yes, you're right.
And I will put out the argument that for some people, maybe that's the most craft thing that you can do, is that, like, if it starts to shift too far one direction, you shut the doors. Like, this isn't what I want. This isn't what I want to be. I will never forget a certain brewery owner in this city looking at me and be like, I will never have fucking goat yoga in my tap room.
Yeah.
and then closing. It's like, okay. Like, you don't have to.
You don't have to. Yeah. And that's okay. I mean, that's the business model that some people follow, and there's other business models that differ from that mindset. And I think it's okay. At the end of the day, your space just needs to be warm and welcoming to the community that's coming in there.
Right.
And yeah, maybe, we have wine on tap we have it from Revel. Right. The liquor behind our bar, for our cocktails, they're Ohio liquor bases. We don't always advertise that, but maybe we're not making it here back in my production facility, but we're still like working with local businesses. But yeah, I think craft just, we had to grow so quick for the demand. And now we're a mature market and we're trying to get back to those roots of understanding what the consumer actually wants. And there are new consumers every day. They come into our doors from the colleges around town, and yeah, maybe they'll have a sway at first, but then maybe they'll get a little excited, and our bartenders will pour them a little sip of Sky Gazer, and then that's the turn that they
is
need.
Called beer. I'm fascinated by it right now, just because I feel like both drinkers and producers have just finally gotten so comfortable with playing on these different sides of the spectrum that for so long was like just so divided. It's like, we don't do that. That's this macro beer thing. Like, we don't do that at all. And then on the flip side, macro brewers like, we don't do that. That's that craft beer crap. Nobody buys that anyways. It's just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about that?
And they're all doing it now.
Yeah. Like I mean, they're still keeping it pretty separate though.
Fair. Yeah.
but that idea of like, that spectrum, people playing on that spectrum more, I think is very curious for me as like a person that likes to think about what I'm drinking a lot more than I think normal people do. So it's interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I've said in a couple other articles and whatnot, but the light lager was probably the hardest beer that recipe-wise have ever had to make.
Sure.
We had specific specifications that we needed to hit, and I've never had to play in that field before.
It's also like, even that is fascinating to me though. This beer that is so difficult to make well is also like the one beer that the most people are not even thinking about when they're drinking it.
Yeah.
And that juxtaposition is very like anti-creative. Like that soul-sucking idea of like this thing that you spend so much time and sweat and fuss over, that then somebody's just mindlessly consuming is tough to kind of like to wrap your head around and deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be like being like a painter and like the only thing that you ever like sell is like Hallmark cards or some kind of crap like that like nobody pays attention to. It's like yeah, like I make a good living, but nobody cares about my art. Nobody.
Not until you're dead.
Do what?
Not until you're dead.
Right. Well, yeah.
Do you want a 10-ounce or a pint of anything?
I'm going to get a pint after we finish up here, which we should probably wrap things up anyways.
Cool.
We're like, not that the internet will kick us off.
I'm just going for sip counts right now.
That's true. We do get counted. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So with my show, though, like I switch the camera between who's talking.
Lovely.
So typically, when somebody is sipping, it's shifted to the other person because they're talking. So the sip count's usually kind of low on this.
Well, I mean, we know we had a flight.
Yeah. They don't care. They don't care about any of that. They don't care about logic on that show. Is there anything else you want people to know about MadTree or about you or about craft beer or the industry or RTDs or anything?
Wow, that's like a whole nother show right there.
That belongs on Drinking with a Gnome.
Yeah. This is not our first curated flight. We definitely have already put together one specifically just for Oakley in the fall and one just for Parks and Rec in the fall.
All right.
And they both will be different from each other.
Okay.
So
are they both going to end with psychopathy?
No, actually, they won't have psych on them.
Lame.
I mean, you can put psych on them.
Every flight that anybody gets here should have psychopathy in it.
Yeah, our fall flights for Oakley will be Ziegler.
Oh, that's right.
That time of year.
I did hear that on Blake's show, I think.
Oh, yeah. So it'll be Ziegler. We're making a Helles that we've had a couple of times in the past. Just kind of, I changed the name on it to be more traditional style for that time of year. An alt beer.
Okay.
And then we're also making a German IPA.
Okay.
And then
what is a German IPA?
We're deciding
IPA
that
with German
still.
hops?
Yeah, so it'll be German hops.
Okay.
We're deciding it'll definitely be a clear beer.
The best German
hazy
IPAs only come from the west coast of Germany.
Yes, it'll be German hop base. That's going to be a fun challenge for my brewer Spencer,
That's fun.
our lead brewer. That's his recipe he's putting together. Probably hate that I called him out on that. It'll be good though. And for Parks, we're having a new seasonal.
Okay.
It's called Harvest Brown. It'll be a brown ale with cocoa nibs from Maverick Chocolate, pumpkin spices, pumpkin puree. And then with that flight, it'll be coffee table with a pumpkin spice rim if you want it or not.
Okay.
Optional. And then a yam casserole beer.
Okay.
And then it'll be either a maple amber lager or a fall spiced 42 mile our cider.
Okay. Oh, I like that. I like the idea of a fall spice cider. My head was going Saison for the last one.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite fall styles is Saison.
You should have the Saison we have on tap right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done. I'm going to do that. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I know that it's a pain in the butt trying to hang out after work to record a podcast. So I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you hanging out with me.
It's always a good conversation,
Yeah.
especially over beers.
Yeah, everything's fun beers. If you haven't been to MadTree in a while, why not? Because, listen, it doesn't matter if you want to go on a date night with your significant other, if you want to take the whole family, load them up in the minivan, and go hang out at a park for a few hours, or if you want to hang out with your friends, sitting at a bar, pounding a whole bunch of big West Coast IPAs. Doesn't matter. There is a MadTree space that's for you. So get to whichever one is closest that scratches your craft beer itch and grab a beer. If you like this show, if you like any of the stuff that I do, hopefully you know how to support by now. You just go to thegnarlygnome.com/support and you can become a Gnomie. And Gnomies get access to all of the cool stuff before everybody else, even though like for the last month, they've been getting it at the same time as everybody else because, again, I can't get anything done the way I want to get it done, but they will get things before everybody else again. They're going to get a whole box of stuff. Do you know that, in theory, once a year, Gnomies get a box of fun swag? Sometimes it's things that nobody else gets, exclusive stuff. Sometimes I just go to different breweries and just buy a whole bunch of something from there. I think I bought all of the coffee mugs at Narrow Path one time, just everything they had.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so then I sent it to the Gnomies, says thank you for supporting, because without people like you guys, none of this is possible. It really kind of makes it work. So I appreciate you. Tell a friend about the show, and it'll continue to grow the way we all want it to. We'll be back in 2 weeks talking to somebody about something good, and you're gonna like it. We'll see you then. Cheers, everybody.